love music, and I love the combination of music with multiple medias put together, and I think the power of them combined has a tremendous potential to being a positive force in the world. I'm Kevin Dobbe, and I'm a composer and media technologist. Just as a composer, what drives me is just the idea of being able to take ideas that I have and being able to literally put them down on paper and then have them realized and then have people respond to it. Turning Points was the name of the concert as named by Maestro Jerry Lance, and the concept from him for the concert was that there were times in historical aspects of the orchestra that different pieces of music perhaps had some influence on new directions in the traditional orchestral genre. And the idea for this particular piece, which was called Color and Light, was to incorporate new medias into a traditional orchestral setting. So the organization that was involved in this was the Rochester Symphony Orchestra and Chorale. Maestro Lance knew of my work as a composer, but he also was aware of my work as an interactive visual artist. And we talked about the idea of potentially incorporating those two together. So that's really where Color and Light came from, is the idea of merging traditional music compositions for orchestra and choir with some contemporary new tools. Oddly enough, my favorite part of the experience really was not the performance. Although I loved the performance, to me, the experience for me that will stay with me more than that was the actual creation of the piece, because it took place over months and months and months. And I was very fortunate that I was on a sabbatical, teaching sabbatical for a year. And during that year, I was able to really be quite intense with the process of the music composition. And so it's really the ritual of making coffee, coming down, saying, okay, for the next 8 hours, I'm going to write music. And to be able to have the luxury of being able to be intensely focused on a project like that, something that might take in a second and a half to unfold in real time, might take 8 to 10 hours to create. The software that I created for this project is entitled Symphonic Vision. And the idea of Symphonic Vision is it's a way to unify multiple medias under the control of a musician reading traditional notation, so that when they play a particular key on a keyboard, that a particular visualization can happen, or a particular set of light cues can be controlled, or camera projections can be controlled. The idea of symphonic vision is to allow visualization of music to occur on the part of the audience. So the idea of symphonic vision is to allow perhaps people who may not necessarily want to go to a classical music concert another means by which to understand it, and maybe perhaps interest level, particularly people who are, you know, in that 15 to 25-year-old category, are not a typical classical music kind of concert goer. My hopes are that eventually people of that age category might consider coming to a classical music concert because they're drawn to the music, but that another part of visualization will perhaps allow them to understand and enjoy the music at another level. So I just wanted to be, exactly. The week leading up to the concert was intense.
It's gonna be an adventure.
That's interesting. I'm very calm.
Well, yeah. There's nothing you can do about it.
All the dotted I's and all that sort of stuff, crossed T's as they say, were all in place. I knew technically what had to be done, but we had just a few days to put all of the equipment into place, get it set up, make sure it was functioning, and then get the orchestra to get in there and rehearse with it only twice before the concert, and then to make sure that the technology was operating as smoothly as possible so it became an enhancement and not something that became a deterrent in the outcome of the project. My God, how does that work? And that was intense.
You wrote a piece that once you understand how it works and all that, it's still hard to do, but it makes sense.
Civic Center was great to allow me to work there till wee hours of the morning a number of times. Oh, indeed, I have sustenance. I have Mountain Dew. I heard mostly really reactions of interest. People thought it was very fascinating and interesting. People were moved by some of the musical events, which made me, again, feel very good, because ultimately the whole purpose of writing music and or using visualizations are to create some sort of emotion response from people who see and hear it. I feel fortunate to be able to be in a position where I can write pieces of music and then actually have other ensembles, individuals be interested in the music. Even if I didn't have people bring it to life, I would probably still write music, because it's something that, it's an expression that just makes me more human.